Good morning. My name is Joseph Rothschild, aka Mono Blutron. This is 10-minute testing, a video series in which I try to show you a deck and 3 games in under 10 minutes. Let's go on a deck edit and see what we got for you today. So today we're playing with a Magician's archetype, like I said yesterday. It's an archetype that everyone seems to have all these really powerful feelings about, and I had some powerful feelings too, in that I thought it was really bad. But actually, after playing the games, I came around a little. I think it does have some play to it. I would make some changes to this list. This list I only arrived at after some changes, so really play around with the contents of the deck. We'll talk a little bit more about it in the post-deck discussion, but for now, let's just go through the card choices. We have 3 Dark Magician, obviously, 3 Magician of Black Illusion, just to make rank 7s, and because we actually have to have a card that does things. We have 3 Choco Magician Girl for filtering. We also don't have a whole bunch of like really good summoning plays on turn 1. Choco Magician Girl is okay. She has 1600, which makes her an alright beater. Magician's Rod also has 1600, and it's alright. What this card does is, if it's normal summoned, you can add a spell or trap that lists Dark Magician in it to your hand, which is the whole deck. And then if you, in your opponent's turn, if you activate a spell or trap card while this is in the graveyard, you can sack a spellcaster like himself and add him to your hand. Then we have Magician's Robe. As a quick effect, he can discard a spell card that says Dark Magician in it in order to summon a Dark Magician from your deck. And if your opponent, during their turn, you activate a spell or trap effect while it's in your graveyard, you can special summon it, but it gets banished. We get to play a Lure of Darkness, which is pretty sweet. We're playing 1 Dark Magic attack. You'll see why later. We have a Regeki, 2 Pot of Cupidity, an Upstart Goblin, 3 Dark Magic Curtain. This is pay half your life points, special summon a Dark Magician. You can't summon for the rest of the turn. We got Illusion Magic. You sacrifice a spellcaster and add 2 Dark Magicians to your hand. This card is pretty good. We have 3 Dark Magic Circle. The reason we're playing the deck, it's basically duality. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you reveal a Dark Magician or a spell or trap that says Dark Magician and put it into your hand. Then you can sort the others on top. We're playing Dark Magic Succession, which we probably shouldn't because it's not out yet. You can banish 2 spell cards from your graveyard and add a spell or trap card that says Dark Magician or Girl to your hand. We have Magician's Navigation, which says special summon a Dark Magician from your hand. Then a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster type monster from your deck. Usually we get Eben. Then we have Dark Renewal, which is not particularly good. When your opponent normally special summons a monster, you can put it in the Dark Renewal hole alongside one of your spellcasters. Then special summon a Dark Spellcaster. Eternal Soul is the actually good card in the deck. Once per turn, you can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, or add a Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. It's also March of the Monarchs. Then we have Solemn Warning and Vanity's Emptiness. In the extra deck, we have Eben Illusion Magician and Eben Oblivion Magician. I urge you to look up what they do, but we don't go into them in the game, so it doesn't matter a whole lot. We also have Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon for an actually good rank 7, Big Eye, Dracosac, Gaia Dragon, and then a bunch of rank 4s in case we get 2 Choco Magician Girls out. So let's go to the games. So I'm premiering these new skins. I think they're pretty exciting. At the very least, they look better than the default YGO Pro skins. We're playing against Burgerstormer Volcanics. This guy's actually a friend of mine that I was testing with. We have bricked into the sun. One thing this deck does a lot is actually brick, but drawing Eternal Soul means that it's impossible to brick because you get to do so much. She dualities, gets Royal Firestorm Guards, and sets a whole bunch of cards. One of these is Imperial Iron Wall, which does almost nothing against us. We set 4 and pass 2 Eternal Souls of Dark Renewal and a Vanity's Emptiness. We activate the Eternal Soul to special summon a Dark Magician, and because we've activated a spell or trap on our opponent's turn, we also get to special summon Magician of Black Illusion. We can go into a rank 7 here, but I don't really want to make my deck really potent. He uses Volcanic Scattershot to blow up my field, but I use Eternal Soul to get Dark Magic attack, and also Eternal Soul has March of the Monarchs, so it doesn't actually kill any of my cards. He uses Burgerstormer Canadians to flip these guys face down in order to get the Volcanic Scattershot Destroy effect, but also Burgerstormer Canadia doesn't work because they can't be affected, not just destroyed. So that was game 1, pretty quick and easy. The second game is against one of these Blue Eyes players. You see him every day. This is the Yugi versus Kaiba match. We draw into Choco Magician Girl, get rid of Magician's Robe, and we get to activate Dark Magic Circle, which draws us into, what, I think one of these 3. All 3 of these are really good. He uses Twin Twisters to destroy 2 cards, one of which is Eternal Soul, which is kind of a problem. We won't flip it face up because if it gets destroyed, so does our Choco Magician Girl. We chain Illusion Magic. We're going to tribute Choco Magician Girl to get 2 Dark Magicians, which we do. Then, because I activated a spell or trap, I get to special summon Magician's Robe, and at end step, I can use his effect to discard a spell or trap card and special summon a Dark Magician. We draw another Choco Magician Girl, so we're going to cycle through Dark Magician. We draw in a Pot of Cupidity and set an Illusion Magic, get in for 1,000,000 damage. He has a Regeki, Aside from that, he has absolutely nothing. We use Magician's Navigation. What Magician's Navigation says is you can banish it from your graveyard not on the turn it was sent to the graveyard in order to target a face-up spell or trap card and negate its effects until the end phase. This is actually face-up while it's still resolving, so we don't get Regeki'd and we win the game. So before we get started on this third match, I feel like there's something I have forgotten to explain. Dark Magic Circle not only has the pot of duality effect, when you special summon a Dark Magician monster, you get to banish a card on the field that your opponent controls. So that's like the allure of playing this deck. I think I do it once in the first game. I get to banish the Blaze Accelerator reload. So if you were wondering why that happened, this is why. We're playing against what's going to be a good deck in an upcoming format, Cyber Angels. You can see that he's drawn a fair amount of good stuff. We haven't really, but we have a lot of cards that draw things. So we fire off the Upstart Goblin, get nothing. We fire off the Pot of Cupidity, get more nothing, basically. We're going to play Magician's Robe and hope that there is some world in which we are able to use its effect. He gets to go for everything. Terraforms into a Ritual Sanctuary, which is bad for us, sends ATDN off of Saphira, and then he has, of course, the Saphira Ritual in Graveyard, which means the Regeki I have isn't going nearly as good as I wanted it to be. I do not activate the Magician's Robe effect because the way the setup works, it was hard for me to determine there was an effect. See, it's like on the white here. I couldn't tell there was a white border, but I do still use Illusion Magic to get a couple of Dark Magicians in my hand. Unfortunately, I've drawn into multiples of Dark Magic Curtain. I would probably cut at least one of these from future iterations of the deck just because they are kind of bricky in multiples. We kind of do the same thing again, getting the third Dark Magician. Use Robe's effect, but Robe's only works in decks. We don't actually get to special summon it. Doesn't matter anyway because there's no way it could beat over Saphira. I think one of the weaknesses of the deck is the ability for us to beat over large monsters. He draws into Herald of Perfection Ritual, and at this point the game's completely over. He has 3 Light Fairies in his hand. There's absolutely no way we're ever going to be able to do anything. We set Magician's Navigation, which is okay, although all it's basically going to be able to set up a big wall. We do set up that big wall, and then we get to get Robe as well. Hopefully these 3 monsters will be enough, but unfortunately he makes Cyber Angel Donkey, and he gets to add a Light Fairy to his hand because he sent a different Cyber Angel, and then he plays Christia. Like, when you see Christia get played, you're like, well, you know, there was nothing I could have done. We're back with the deck. I was actually impressed. It seemed like it could play with the big boys. The Blue Eyes deck did brick a whole lot, but at the same time, it was a pretty convincing defeat, and I think even if he had tools, it would have been hard for him to be in the game. I certainly think that this deck has more play than I was giving it credit for. Going into Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon is actually a pretty powerful ability to have. I think changes I would make to the deck are the Dark Renewal was pretty garbage all the time. I think I would put in a third Magician's Navigation. This card never really came up. I don't really understand its use. I probably would not play Dark Magic Succession, at least until we have it. If you're testing on YGO Pro, I would take out an Illusion Magic. It is necessary in order to have the Dark Magicians in your hand, but drawing into multiples really sucks. I would also probably take out the Vanity's Emptiness, just because we do so much special summoning, and I would probably add more copies of Dark Magic Attack, or hilariously, Thousand Knives. Thousand Knives is just a destroy 1 card on the field. 1 monster on the field if you have a Dark Magician, but it's searchable off of Eternal Soul, and I really like the idea of using Eternal Soul to get a whole bunch of advantage. I think the Harpy's Feather Duster version is a little better, but I certainly think Thousand Knives deserves a shout-out. At the very least, it's worth consideration. And that's that. I hope you liked this episode of 10-Minute Testing, along with my new end slate, which I spent 10 minutes making in an online photo editor. If nothing else, it's likely to land me in hot water with copyright because it's actually the art to thirst for knowledge in Magic the Gathering, one of my favorite cards in Mono Bluetron. As you can see, I have a link to the previous video, which was Volcanic Storma, a link to the next video, which I'll disclose in a second, and a link to a playlist if you actually enjoy 10-minute testing and would like to see more episodes of it. As always, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And if you want me to play a specific deck, let me know in the comments below, and I'll run it through the YGO Pro Tier 8 Gauntlet. If not, I'm going to play whatever I want, which right now looks like it's going to be a Rank 6 Turbo deck that was sent to me by a friend. See you tomorrow.